And hey, honey, could you go get the grilling planks so I can lay this on?
And we have a little bit of brie on here too, is that right? Which we're going to be doing next.
We do, and we certainly do, and we're about to talk about that next. So, we're going to get these grilling planks. I'm going to lay this out and just show you how I put the rosemary in the cracks, and then we'll put that in the oven, and then we'll move on to the brie and to the lemonade. So does anybody have a question right now?
Oh, we have a question up here in the front.
Can you talk about royal jelly and how you harvest it, what it is and how you harvest it?
Royal jelly is one of the, that's sort of the most precious substance in the beehive. So a worker bee, there's one queen bee. There can be 80,000 worker bees and then a few male bees, not many. All the worker bees are female. So the queen is actually born a worker. She's hatched as an egg. She will, within the first 3 days, they'll determine we're going to make her a queen. So they feed, instead of feeding her honey and pollen, which is all honeybees eat, they feed her royal jelly. And there's a gland on the back of the heads of a bee, and it's really young bees that do this, but it's a hypopharyngeal gland. And they're attending the queen, and they'll feed this worker larva the royal jelly. And instead of becoming a worker bee, she turns into a queen. Worker bees live about 6 weeks, and the queen bee will live for years. And it's a really miraculous stuff. Okay, so, and then that's all she's ever fed. So when she comes out, she's surrounded by those attendant bees, and they're just feeding her royal jelly throughout the day. And so that's what they use it for. The way I see it is royal jelly is when bees eat a lot of pollen, they're able to extract all the goodie out of it, and so that turns into royal jelly. That's how they make it. It's good for your skin. It's got tons of antioxidants and vitamins and stuff. People use it for eye creams and wrinkles, and but it's also good to eat it. So it's great. I don't know what.
That's interesting.
Does that answer your
That's a
question?
good question. I never knew that before.
Did you get the planks?
Yeah. Do you have products over at the Savannah Bee Company that feature royal jelly?
We do. We have body butters.
Good.
And stuff. Okay. Well, yeah, I did mention the plank already. So what we would do is just pull this out. And again, I wish we had, we just got too big a piece of salmon.
So you just coat it in that. You don't need to marinate it or leave it.
Well, like I said, if we had the time, I would have it in a bigger basin. And
how long would you leave it?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much. Look how beautiful that is, right?
Yay.
It's perfect. This is what I'm looking for.
That's art.
Okay, so here's the plank. But this is what I would do. So I'd put it over like this. I would let it sit here for 20 to 30 minutes. While the grill's getting hot. And I love the big green egg. All right, and then I put these slices of rosemary in here like this. And that rosemary kind of cooks through the sides of the meat, and it just, I don't know, I love it. Rosemary is so easy to grow.
It does look good, doesn't it? It's simple, too.
And then we would do some salt over it. And this salt shaker is not a real worker.
Well, remember, you're not talking to professional chefs out here either.
Yeah.
This is what happens in real life,
Let me just
people.
roll the salt on the table. And then here's the pepper. And so you can see just as far as like presentation, how pretty it would be bringing this out in, either on this plank, like we talked about. And of course, a lot of times this thing's smoldering. You can see, it'll really start to smoke, but it's beautiful, and you can just pull it up on the plank, and it'll be gorgeous. Okay. All right, so that's it. Did everybody get to taste it?
What do you think?
Was it good?
Yeah?
Did it taste good? You think so?
They're nodding.
Okay, well,
they're not speaking, but they're nodding.
I didn't taste it, so I don't know how it's comparing. But I'm a salt. I mean, even though I sell honey, I'm like a salty, hot pepper kind of guy, and I would never really thought to put honey on it. But a few months ago, I started doing it, and it's the best salmon I've ever cooked. And I'm not just trying to sell honey. It really is. My daughter's like, "Oh, that honey, you're gonna make that honey," The honey salmon is so good.
I would imagine that the two flavors kind of complement each other or push each other forward, or I don't know what the correct term would be.
They do.
Enhance,
It,
that's the
somehow
word,
it
enhance.
really does work. And I would never have thought I would want like sweet with my meat, but a lot of people do. Like pork loins and pork chops. I mean, all kind. You know, we have a guy that works for us that puts bacon in a little Ziploc with the grill honey. He's like, you let it sit overnight. You cook it on a low heat so it doesn't burn. And the next morning, he's like, it's the best. It's the best. So it really does go well. All right, so that's the salmon. All right, we'll just leave this here and we'll move on over here. And then my brother was gonna tell you quickly how to make. Anybody can bake a brie, but this looks really pretty, and hopefully you got to taste that as well. And did we serve that out? The brie?
The brie coming
Yes.
out.
Oh, it's coming out. Okay, so this is my brother Jeff.
Hey,
He
Jeff.
also was
Nice to meet you.
there when old Roy, the old man that taught us beekeeping, taught us beekeeping, and he was about 9 years old at the time.
Right. So really, I'm just going to show you how to do a simple brie that with the honey and almonds. We have cherries and cranberries. And so usually we'd have some toasted almonds. I'd put the toasted almonds on the brie, on the plank. Do that last. And then with our honey pop.
It took us 2 years to get this pump, develop a pump that will pump honey at any temperature and not drip. That
That would be the key.
very much the key.
So you want to just cover the brie with the honey, let it run over the sides like that. Get some nice dried cherries. This is really simple, but very tasty as you're finding out. And this would cook a little slower on maybe 250 for a little longer. Put it in the oven. Maybe a little more honey. Can't have too much honey.
And tell us again what kind of honey is the cheese honey and what makes it different.
It's a real complex honey. It's got a lot of Tupelo in it. It's a blend, but it pairs well with the cheese and the fact that it's a complex honey.
And the type of sugars as well. It's more of a fructose sugar, and your tongue tastes fructose sugars further in the back, and so it allows you to taste that sweet back here, and then you've got the usually salty nuttiness of a cheese. Of course, you're not getting so much of that with a brie, but with the manchegos and the blues that most people pair honey with, you'll get that. So.
And this would go in the oven for 20 minutes on 250 and would come out, and you're tasting it now. It's
What do you guys think?
wonderful.
Excellent,
Good.
huh?
So you
Did
probably wanna
everybody
put
get
a little-
some? If you didn't, please raise your hand. We'll bring out some. Okay, cool. I want to ask you a question about the different honeys and the cooking points. Do they have different? Is the cheese honey a different cooking point than the grilling honey? And
Well, there's probably someone that does know that answer, but I don't. I'm not sure. Honey, if you heat honey over 140 degrees, the enzymes start to die off. So when you are cooking with honey, you're not going to get as much of the benefits as you would from eating the raw honey. But as far as like it caramelizing, I would think that the Tupelo, the more fructose honeys, would do that more slowly, and that the glucose honeys would do it a lot faster.
it's not really a concern.
Start passing
When you
it
see a
out.
honey that granulates and you see all the crystallizes, that's the glucose sugars in it that do that, and it does that naturally.
Oh, you're gonna make
it doesn't mean the honey is bad.